You're listening to the Astromommy Weekly Horoscope, a forecast that hopes to shine a light in the dark, helping us all see where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. Whether you're a first-time listener or a long-time subscriber, thanks for being here. I truly appreciate you being in the Astromommy community. I hope you enjoyed this week's horoscopes and card reading. If you would like to support the Astromommy newsletter, there are several ways to do so. Without further ado, here is the weekly horoscope. This train is going to the... Wait, where are we going? Boarding a train, destination unknown. New moon in Aquarius, square Uranus this week. Weekly forecast for Tuesday, February 6th, 2024 through Monday, February 12th, 2024. Good morning, friends. I hope you all had a good week. Well, we are still celebrating the Astromommy newsletter's second anniversary this week until Monday, February 12th, 2024. That means that all of the perks of a paid subscription are open and available to all, plus a fun giveaway for my paid subscribers. Make sure you enter. If you missed it, the details of the celebration are at the bottom of the newsletter. Plus, the new moon in Aquarius is coming up, which means there will be a new word list posted for the lunar poetry ritual on Friday, February 9th, 2024. If you're new here, you can read all about the lunar poetry ritual that I host every month in this post. Okay, let's get into the astrology. All times are in Eastern Time unless mentioned otherwise. The weekly overview. This week is exciting because there are so many aspects perfecting. It's a very different feeling from last week, which was like eating breakfast on the balcony beside a calm sea, quiet, serene, and peaceful, the sun warming your cheeks as you sipped fresh squeezed orange juice or brewed coffee. This week feels more like we have packed our bags and are boarding a train to a foreign destination. It's busy, dynamic, and moving fast. It feels a bit chaotic because we know that ahead on our journey are train switches, stops, and unknowns. The really scary thing is that we don't actually know where we are going. But there is no turning back now. We have boarded and the train has left the station. The only way to discover our destination is to experience it with open eyes, hearts, and minds. This train ride started yesterday, Monday, February 5th, 2024, when Mercury entered Aquarius and conjoined Pluto. That was like getting our schedule. So now we know mentally where we are going, but it's a whole other thing to feel the train move beneath our feet. Today, Tuesday, February 6, 2024, Venus will square the nodes and the moon will enter Capricorn and her balsamic phase, representing releasing or letting something go that we value or hold dear in some way. It's as if we have to say goodbye to whomever we are leaving behind and hold on to whomever is coming with us. On Wednesday, Venus and the moon trine Uranus, which could bring some fun sparks into our relationships or the bedroom, spicing things up. This fun midweek transit is followed by the sun square to Uranus on Thursday, February 8th, 2024, indicating a sudden shift or change to the storyline. It's like meeting someone fun on the train that becomes a lifelong friend or a new lover. It's something you didn't expect to happen, but now that it has, you can't undo it. It changes things going forward. This whole week we are experiencing, as I said, the balsamic moon phase, shedding our skins in preparation for the epidermis of the new moon in Aquarius on Friday, February 9th, 2024, which will also be in a square to Uranus and Taurus, indicating a new beginning that suddenly frees you from some part of your story so far that was due for a change in the house that Aquarius rules in your natal chart. Finally, over the weekend on Saturday, February 10th, 2024, Mercury forms a square to Jupiter, representing a discrepancy between the small details and the big picture, a typo on your schedule that ends up leading you somewhere you didn't mean to go, but there's a silver lining. With Jupiter, there's always a silver lining. Let's go over the main transits. Whatever I leave out, I will touch on in the daily horoscopes, and then a card reading for the week. Venus squares the nodes and trines Uranus. On Tuesday, February 6, 2024, Venus in Capricorn squares the nodes in Aries and Libra at 11:15 a.m. You can see in the chart above Venus located at the top of the chart on the right, co-present with the moon, freshly in Capricorn, and Mars less than 6 degrees away from entering Aquarius, which will take place on February 13th, 2024. Venus is at the southern bending in relationship to the nodes, and this means that whatever event this transit represents will be something personal involving your relationships, your values, or your finances. Venus is the planet of love, affection, beauty, sensuality, sexuality, and what we attract into our lives. And when she squares the north and south nodes, this can indicate loving, beautiful, or sensual things coming in or going out of our lives. Since she rules over relationships, aesthetic, beauty, and things that we value like money and jewels, this could mean a relationship enters or exits your life, or perhaps you make a decision about your style or appearance, or this could have to do with a financial decision regarding something of value. Venus is at 17 degrees Capricorn, 38 minutes, and has entered into a 3-degree range of engagement by trine to Uranus in Taurus, which will perfect on Wednesday at 4:25 p.m. The trine is of the nature of Jupiter and creates harmony, flow, and speed. Uranus represents freedom, excitement, and rebelliousness, and in a trine from Venus can indicate something unusual happening in our love lives, or something that is sensually exciting, wild, or erotic. It can also indicate an unexpected gift coming in from a female relative, friend, or romantic partner. Whatever it is, we have to remember that it is Uranus, and that means it will be a surprise. I have found in my own life that Venus-Uranus transits are some of the most fun, so I think it may be safe to say that it will be something out of the blue that is pleasurable in some way. New moon in Aquarius, square Uranus. The Sun will square Uranus on Thursday, February 8th, 2024 at 5:45 a.m., and then the next day, the Moon will join the party, squaring Uranus right before she conjoins the Sun for the new moon at 5:59 p.m. Above is the chart of the new moon at 20 degrees Aquarius, 40 minutes. You can see the Sun and the Moon both on the right-hand side of the chart between 3 and 2 o'clock. The new moon is in a square to Uranus in Taurus, which is at the top of the chart and interestingly conjoined the midheaven of this event chart cast for Washington, D.C. New moons are always about starting something new, and in mundane astrology, with Uranus conjoined the midheaven of this chart cast for the capital city of the United States, this would indicate that whatever the country is beginning this month is creating a revolutionary way in which that country is presenting itself out into the world. This is very interesting. I'm about to get a bit astro-nerdy, so hang on. In traditional astrology, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, but in modern astrology, Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. Uranus is in Venus's sign, Taurus, and Venus is in Saturn's sign, Capricorn, and Saturn in Pisces is in the sign of Venus's exaltation. What this all means is that Saturn loves Venus right now, and Venus likes Saturn, which is odd because usually they are not friends. Uranus loves Venus too, and the Sun and the Moon both love Saturn. So we have some really good receptions going on between all of these planets. So on a personal level, I think that what this means is that whatever emerges from this new moon will be something enjoyable to many factions of your life. It may be wild, crazy, unconventional, unorthodox, edgy, romantic, and therefore something shocking, but it looks pleasant in some way, shape, or form because of the receptions between the planets involved. I have found over the last 2 years of closely following the transits and the lunar cycles that unless I purposely use the new moon energy to intentionally start something, whatever new thing begins on its own is not noticeable until the first quarter moon a week later. So with that sentiment in mind, if you have something that you'd like to start, the new moon is a great time to do it. Being that this new moon is in an air sign, my advice is to start things that are focused on new ways of communicating, relating with others, or implementing new strategies. Of course, the sky is the limit, so these are just suggestions. If you choose to start something new, I would love to know how it goes. If you choose to see what naturally happens, I would be interested to hear your reflections in hindsight. Here are some fun questions to ask yourself on this new moon. What are you starting today? What do you notice? Who are you relating to, talking to, or interacting with? What new strategies are you implementing right now? Briefly below, you will find the house that this new moon is occurring in according to your rising sign. Find your rising and read the house topics associated with this new moon. You may notice a new beginning involving one or more of those topics. Aries, 11th house of friends, allies, groups, and wishes. Taurus, 10th house of career, praxis, and the mother. Gemini, 9th house of foreign travel, higher education, and beliefs. Cancer, 8th house of shared resources, inheritance, death, and death. Leo, 7th house of marriage, partnerships, and legal matters. Virgo, 6th house of stress, health issues, employees or coworkers, and pets. Libra, 5th house of pregnancy, children, creativity, and recreational activities. Scorpio, 4th house of family, roots, and property. Sagittarius, 3rd house of siblings, communication, and local travel. Capricorn, 2nd house of money and possessions. Aquarius, first house of self, health, and character. Pisces, 12th house of blind spots, large animals, hidden enemies, and mental health. I wish you all a happy new moon. Mercury square Jupiter. You can see Mercury in the chart above at about the 10 o'clock position and square to Uranus at the bottom of the chart just past 6 o'clock. The moon is right at the end of Aquarius, just about to ingress into the watery, intuitive, emotional sign of Pisces after this square. The moon's imminent shift from one sign to the next is hard to ignore, as it means that we all may experience a dramatic shift in mood during this transit, going from a detached, analytical, and very mental state to a deeply emotional, compassionate, and very fluid one. Mercury is the planet associated with our mind, intellect, philosophies, and details, and Jupiter is the planet that represents the bigger picture, things on a large scale, prosperity, and abundance. These two planets have a natural opposition to each other, and that Mercury is about the individual exchanges between people, the conversations, the day-to-day goings-on in your environment, and the collection of small puzzle pieces that make up our lives, whereas Jupiter is about the unified whole of experience, the overall arc of a relationship, the big picture view, and the finished image on the box of the puzzle we are putting together. They also rule signs that are opposite to each other. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo, and Jupiter traditionally rules Sagittarius and Pisces. And when they are in each other's signs, they are said to be in their detriment or exiles. So Mercury and Jupiter have this sort of duality to their relationship that creates an archetypal tension. One thing that I find really interesting is that they both represent bees. In Christian astrology, by the famous Renaissance astrologer William Lilly, he says that both Mercury and Jupiter represent bees, but it is for different reasons. Mercury represents bees because they are small and they live in large colonies, many little things collected and working together. Jupiter represents bees because they pollinate the plants and therefore extend the plant's existence through reproduction. Jupiter brings life, growth, and fertility, and was said to be the ruler of sperm. When Mercury and Jupiter form a square to one another, there can be miscommunications about the small details or the big picture that can create some temporary issues that need to be solved. Jupiter also represents someone of prestige or stature, like a priest, a guru, or a professor. But Mercury is the ruler of thieves, merchants, and magicians. So sometimes when they have a square aspect, it can indicate a thief getting caught stealing, or someone of high stature getting caught in a lie. On a more positive note, the square aspect could indicate an action that needs to be taken for something small to get access to something big, like opening a locked door with a key. The key is small, but the access to the room is big. Mercury represents keys, and big open spaces are Jupiter's realm. So Saturday may be interesting as Mercury squares Jupiter, popping some sort of inflated bubble of hope or aspirations with some sort of itty-bitty detail, or taking a small calculated action that leads to bigger and better horizons. Okay, moving on to the tarot spread. Let's move on to a 3-card spread for the week that will represent the situation, the obstacle, and the advice. The first card representing the situation is 5 of Wands reversed. On this card, we see the arms of various men holding sprouted wands and striking them against one another. In the upright position, this card means fighting, disagreements, or competition. In the reverse position, it is all about internal conflict, fighting with yourself, or avoiding conflict with those around you who have big opinions about what you should or shouldn't be doing with your life. This card could also mean that the conflict, argument, or competition is over and you can relax. As the card represents the situation, I feel this means you are at war with yourself about something. Perhaps you are failing to make a decision and you keep going back and forth about what you could or should be doing. Maybe it does mean that there was a conflict in the past and now you are done arguing about it and ready to move on. Only you know how this relates to your life. The second card representing the obstacle is 8 of Cups. On this card, we see a person in a red cloak walking away from 8 cups on the side of an estuary or a river. There is a waning crescent moon in the sky indicating a time of release and letting go. In the upright position, this card is about giving everything to others and feeling like you do not have anything left emotionally to nurture yourself. It can bring up feelings of depression, gloominess, and lethargy because we are so tired of carrying all this emotional stuff. And it is about leaving a draining situation. As the card that represents the obstacle, I feel this means that there is something we've been putting a lot of energy into, a project, a problem, or a relationship that we've been caring a lot about, and we feel drained and depressed about where it is heading, so much so that we are considering leaving this situation, relationship, or project behind. It is very emotional, and the very thought may even bring tears. And the third card representing the advice is Six of Wands reversed. On this card, we see a man riding in on his white horse. The man wears a helmet with a red plume blowing in the wind. He holds a sprouted wand in one hand that is adorned with a wreath symbolizing victory and success. 5 more sprouted wands stand tall in the background, being held vertically by his supporters. The Six of Wands upright is about feeling victorious and successful at something and wanting to celebrate. In the reverse position, it may indicate a private success or victory, but in combination with the other cards, I strongly feel that this means that whatever you were trying to do has failed, fallen short, or has turned out to be a dud. To recap, the situation is that you are fighting with yourself about something, or recently you were indecisive and tense. The obstacle is that you have been putting your heart and soul into something and you feel you may need to walk away from it. Whatever it is, there are a lot of emotions around it, and it's not as easy as just putting on your cloak and walking away, but you feel you may need to do that. You are not getting the emotional rejuvenation and reward that you had hoped for, and are feeling drained by the situation. The advice is to privately celebrate whatever success, lessons, or growth you did have, and then quietly cut your losses and move on. This fits the balsamic moon phase this week and the upcoming new moon in Aquarius. Last month, during the new moon in Capricorn, some of us may have set some intentions to start projects or invest our energy into situations or people, and this week we are reevaluating the things and people that get to stay and letting go of the things and people that we can no longer invest our time, energy, resources, and love into. There's a new moon on the horizon, and in order to make way for the new seeds to be planted, we have to rip out the weeds and old growth of the previous garden and turn the soil. It's time to let some things go. This is not always easy and is usually accompanied by some strong emotions. Give yourself grace as you navigate these transitions and shed your old skins. In conclusion, for the weekly forecast, we have boarded a train and it has started to move quickly on the tracks. Destination unknown. It's scary yet exciting. The thrill of movement with all the planets direct is exhilarating, and the anticipation of the new world with Pluto and Aquarius is both terrifying and electrifying. As we brace ourselves by holding onto the rails, we can feel the hum of momentum tingling our palms as we venture forth. One thing is for certain, we are on this train together, and I am honored to be riding it with you. I truly hope you enjoyed this week's forecast, and I am looking forward to reading your reflections. I hope this is helpful. Until tomorrow, Astro Mummy. Thank you for reading or listening to the weekly horoscope. Quick links and resources can be found at the bottom of the newsletter. This week's cards were pulled from the Morgan-Greer Deck, available on Amazon. If you seek knowledge and enlightenment, the Astro Mummy newsletter may be right for you. Side effects of reading or listening to the Astro Mummy newsletter are common and include joy, jubilation, delight, happiness, gratitude, love, triumph, feeling in tune with the universe, experiencing deep insights, reflections, and contemplations, a lightened soul, a lighter step, feeling awake when others are asleep, illuminated, enlightened, having spiritual experiences, noticing repeating numbers, animals in nature, or songs on the radio that speak to you, getting vibes, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and clairsmelliance, feeling like you know secret language, biophilia, crying tears of joy, emotional literacy, feeling lively, stable, exalted, having an auric glow, or feeling like you woke up on the right side of the bed have all been reported. If you purchase anything through the affiliate links that I provide in the newsletters, I will make a very small commission. Thanks for listening.